rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy Whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Headlines spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning Whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Good morning, everybody. I don't know why I did this morning, but you know, StreamYard's been acting all funky lately. It's weird. Like, why am I in such a small little box here? Yes. Good morning. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. The suitcase game. That was pretty fun. How's everyone doing? Man, oh man, oh man. It is going to be a beautiful day, everybody. It's going to be like 70 degrees, if not warmer here today. Oh, it's going to be nice. So nice. I'm looking forward to it. And I hope you guys are up and ready to go on your way to work, wherever you might be. Well, we're here. Span is freaking out about this weekend. Not good. Oh, it's a good. It's 62 here. Yeah, right now it is beautiful outside. I went and of course did the morning chores of getting the trash out to the street and that kind of stuff, so they can come and pick that up. It's a beautiful thing. It's wonderful. Man, oh man. And then of course we're just right on the cusp of a Friday. I mean, isn't it great? Isn't it great? You're just rolling right up on it. Am I awake? Shizzy, wake me up. You want me to wake you up? Well, white rabbit hand. I mean, you might not want to wake up after I get done with you. You might want to just curl back up in bed. Good morning. God. So bad. All hells will break loose this weekend. It wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me if it did break out this weekend and just went absolutely crazy, because I'm gone this weekend. I'll be traveling. I'll be a traveler on the land. Coffee in hand makes this morning better. Yes, morning is always better with a nice cup of joe in your hand. There we go. This morning. Oh, that's the wrong one. This is the one I was after. Doge versus Swamp Site Rep. Oh, the latest hackings and jabbings and lobbyings of the waste, fraud, and abuse that plagues the sprawling federal bureaucracy. 20 billion in suspect EPA climate change grants are torched. Somewhere an irate Greta Thunberg is seething into the ether, grinding her teeth to the jawbones, brows furrowed in righteous indignation. The EPA said that it was canceling 20 billion in grants for climate and clean energy programs that have been frozen for weeks. A move that was labeled illegal by nonprofit groups that were supposed to receive the funds. The money has been caught in an escalating controversy involving EPA, the Justice Department, the FBI, and Citibank, where the funds are being held and are now frozen, prompting lawsuits from 3 nonprofit groups. The grants were issued to a total of 8 nonprofit organizations through the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund, which received $27 billion in funding from Congress through the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act. Some priceless works of art are surely going to be desecrated, and some grocery aisles vandalized by the adult children in retaliation. Department of Education on life support. Union boss plays race card in desperate attempt to gin up public sympathy. The Democrats, as we have noted, have proven themselves immune to absorbing the lessons they ought to have taken from their recent electoral bloodbath. And here's the Department of Education union boss, Shira Smith, doubling down on race hucksterism with professional MSNBC social justice agitator Rachel Maddow in the context of mass layoffs ongoing at the agency. Well, let's see what they have to say.
It started with a sort of mysterious notice this afternoon, a reference to security concerns that went out to all employees at the U.S. Department of Education. Quote, beginning today at 6 p.m., all Education Department offices will be closed for security reasons.
I love that idea. I think that's a beautiful idea. Department of Education offices closed because of security reasons. Employees must vacate the building by that time. All education offices in the NCR and regions will be closed to employees and contractor employees on Wednesday, March 12th. Oh, wasn't that wonderful? Due to the closures, employees with approved telework agreements may work from home. Please take your laptop with you when departing the office on Tuesday. Employees will not be permitted to any ED faculty on the 12th. All offices will reopen on Thursday, March 13th, at which time in-person presence will resume. If you have questions, well, contact us here.
Employees must vacate the building by that time. This notice also said all Education Department offices would be closed tomorrow and no employees would be allowed in. Now, this notice had no details about what these security reasons were.
Doesn't matter. They don't have to. I mean, I would assume they don't have to. Keeps them from deleting anything. Yeah. Well, but if they're taking their laptops home with them, they could delete anything they want to. See, I mean, if it's on some sort of cloud, now if it's on servers there, then they wouldn't be able to. That makes it all that much more interesting.
But it was pretty clear what was coming. After all, we've been through this a couple of times already now. It was just over a month ago when people who work at USAID got an email saying their office would be closed the next day and they shouldn't come.
Yeah, that's what should happen. You know, if you've got issues with some department, this works well with like large corporations, and I would say that the United States government is probably one of the largest corporations that produces absolutely nothing but red tape. Then what's wrong with shutting it down to get a handle on where the problems are inside your company? You're 62. To even have government education is a nightmare. Education is a nightmare in today's world. It needs to go back to the States. Well, it needs to go back to quite a bit more than that. I mean, I'm with you, but you know that it is in education is in such a bad shape that we're lacking below some third world countries. Just it's crazy.
Come to work. That was right before Trump set about completely dismantling that whole agency.
As he should have.
Employees at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, same thing, sent a very similar note saying their office would be shut for the following week.
So tell me, and this is a serious question here. What does the Consumer Protection Agency do? Okay. I mean, if you really think about this, like how much money do they get in taxpayer dollars every year? The Consumer Protection Agency, what do they get per year? You would think that, it would be just enough to pay the salary of, I don't know, 10, 20 people. Because if you're trying to, look at products and you're trying to protect them against something, you probably only need about 10 or 20 people. What happens is something comes in. Let's say, for example, they find out that these coffee cups are lead-based and you file a complaint. Well, who do you file a complaint to? Consumer Protection Agency. And they say, oh, there's lead in those things. So they put out, a notice that says all that has to be removed. So maybe you got 100 people there. I don't know, 1,000. And what do you pay them? Well, you're not going to pay them very much money. I mean, you shouldn't pay them a whole lot of money to go out and do things. I mean, you cover their cost and things like that. But, do you need 1,000 people going and looking at one cup of coffee to see, that there's lead in it, for example? No, you just go in and shut them down. Yeah. Department of Education was established in 1979. You graduated. Thank you.
Just as the White House ordered the entire agency to stop all of its work.
Yep.
And sure enough, tonight, just after the 6 p.m. deadline for Education Department workers to vacate their offices because of some security concern, Trump Education Secretary, the billionaire pro wrestling executive Linda McMahon, announced that her department is cutting its workforce in half. They will be.
Oh, beautiful. If they cut it in half, that means that there was 2,600 workers. 2,600 workers. I mean, think about this. Department of Education has 2,600 workers. That's a lot of pay going to people doing things that don't produce anything, don't create anything, don't build anything, dictate what other people are going to do with their life. But the worst part about it is I would imagine that most of these were pushing diversity, equity, inclusion. It's like removing an HR team. Do you need 6,000 people working for you that do HR? Do you need 1,300 people doing HR in a place that produces nothing, creates nothing but red tape? I mean, I think that's a wonderful idea. The ceiling fan brush comes with a warning: turn off fan before use. Yes, things like that. Yeah, because people don't have any common sense.
Begin firing more than 1,300 people from the Education Department tonight. And then, of course, she went straight to Fox News.
That was the president's mandate, this directive to me, clearly is to shut down the Department of Education, which we know we'll have to work with Congress, to get that accomplished. But what we did today was to take the first step of eliminating what I think is bureaucratic bloat. And that's not to say that a lot of the folks, it's a humanitarian thing too. A lot of the folks that are there, they're out of a job. But we wanted to make sure that we kept all of the right people and the good people.
Yeah.
If you find yourself starting to feel a little tug on your heartstrings for those.
Nope, not a bit. I feel no pain for them because you know what? They could go get a job in manufacturing, It would be amazing to see these people actually create something. They spent how many years in school to get a government job to suck off the taxpayer teat? I love it. Love it. It just makes my mornings.
1,300 people who are out of a job tonight at the education department. Don't worry, we kept all the good people.
That's right, we'll call.
We kept all the good people. The 1,300 people who are getting fired tonight, they just aren't, they're not good.
No, they just didn't do a good job. That's how, exactly, tradesmen are needed. I mean, you know, here's the thing. You know, you could go and get a job as an electrician. They pay really good money. You could get a job as a line worker. So the next hurricane that comes through, you could have people that actually go and get power hooked back up. And I mean, if you're really wanting to do something because you know, it's all about the children. Well, here's the thing. If you're saying, well, they're gutting the government education, they don't care about the children. Well, here's the thing. You have all this free time. Now you can go and you can shrink the size of a classroom. You could go and teach. It would be wonderful. Oh, but that might not work out well because, yeah, they're cutting out all the diversity, equity, and inclusion. You probably should be around children anyway. Just saying.
They're not good. Who is this for? The vast majority of the American people do not want this.
As opposed to what? Are you talking about where was this poll taken? See, this is the thing. This is so horrible. Where was the poll taken? Was it taken at MSNBC? Because if it was your viewers, I guarantee you, if I ran a poll, I would have, you know, and this is a small sample size here. But if I took a poll of people that are my viewers, I would probably find a good, you know, at least 90% that would support shutting down. Yeah, I mean, hell, I'll do that. That's what I should do. I should run a poll and see exactly what our percentage is. This is going to be a short one. It's going to be a really short one, but we'll run a nice poll here just to get an idea, so we can see what the percentage is of shutting down the Department of Education is, and we'll compare it with their wonderful poll. How's that? And I think that ours will be even less accurate. Here we go. We'll start a poll. Shut down Department of Education. Let's see. Close down. Department of Education. There we go. Department DED. I'll put it in there as Department. Oh, it's DOD. Department of Education. DOE. There we go. Department of Education. Close down. Department of Education. There we go. There we go. We'll get a more accurate poll than they have, and we'll let this video go, and we'll see exactly what that turns out.
A poll earlier this month, Reuters Ipsos, earlier this month found that fully 66% of Americans oppose abolishing the education department. Nearly half of Americans strongly oppose it, while only 16% are strongly in favor of it. This is not something Americans want, but Donald Trump is trying to do it anyway, apparently starting with firing fully half the people who work at that agency tonight.
Beautiful.
This is from NPR on the Trump administration.
You know, how many people want to see the cut of government waste and bring more back to the taxpayer, so you have to spend less per year funding the government that wants to take taxes away from you. And you know, I'll show you something here in a little bit that comes from India. It's an unconstitutional agency. Exactly. Oh, MG, you are such a man. You're such the man. I love that man. He is one of my favorite people. I'm gonna send you an invite, brother, if you want to come on, because you're always welcome. You know that. Oh, geez.
Administration's announcement tonight that they're firing 1,300 people from the U.S. Department of Education.
I love it.
Quote, AFGE, American Federation of Government Employees, Local 252, a union that represents Education Department employees, released a statement in which its president, Sharia Smith, said, "We will fight these draconian cuts." Minutes later, AFGE Local 252 told NPR that Sharia Smith was laid off.
Told NPR. Yeah, Sharia Smith was laid off along with all 5 of the chapter's other union officers. Isn't that wonderful? That's what we, and this is news coming out from NPR. Who gives a shit about NPR? It's a left-wing propaganda media machine. It's NPR. You can't differentiate between MSNBC, CBS, ABC, Fox News, or any of the other mainstream media outlets. No different. And if people say, "Oh, you threw Fox News in there," yeah, Fox News is nothing but a bullshit company. I don't trust them one damn iota. I have a hard time trusting anything that comes out of Fox News. That's just me. It's just me. I don't believe the words that are coming out of their mouth. There's always some bullshit hidden agenda that I don't agree with at all. In Pennsylvania, you're taxed for schools, yet parents must pay for the kids' school supplies for the year. What the F? Yeah. Department of Degeneracy and Propaganda. That is so true. Oh, yeah.
Off, along with all 5 of the chapter's other union officers.
They can have off, too.
Joining
They
us
can
now
vote.
is Sharia Smith. She's president of the union representing 28.
Oh, Sharia Smith. We must be supported. I don't know. I think you got it too high up on your jacket there. How much money? Yeah, it's mostly propaganda radio, government propaganda radio. Exactly.
800 employees at the education department. She served
Beautiful.
our country as an attorney for the education department's office for civil rights.
Really? She served as an attorney? Well, you know what, sweetheart? Here's a beautiful thing about being an attorney. You can always get a job as an attorney. It is a beautiful thing. You take that nice little law degree that you have, and you take your happy ass out there and you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to put a little ad out there because this is the kind of law that I practice. And you go out there and you actually practice law. And you'll find out that you get these things that are called clients that pay you money. And it doesn't cost the taxpayer a dime. It's a beautiful thing. You can get out there and actually practice law. But Shizzy, she needs to work. That is work. You might have to get out there and actually hustle a little bit and have some talent. And you'll find out really fast how running your own business is a little bit more than just suckling off the government's teats.
Rights until this evening. Ms. Smith, thank you so much for being here on Tonight of All Nights. I am sorry for what you're going through.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry for what you're going through. She's a freaking lawyer. Yeah. Lynette needs a lawyer. We know. Exactly.
Much, Rachel. My coworkers and I from all over the country really appreciate the platform you're giving us to talk about this.
Is it the case that your whole office is being closed and your colleagues, all of your colleagues at your office are being fired as well, the whole thing?
You know, that's so interesting that you asked the question about our whole office. So we've reviewed the list of people who are set to be laid off. And I also listened to Secretary McMahon's statement about how they're keeping the good people. The people that they seem to be keeping are white men who happen to have graduated from very conservative schools.
Seems to be. Well, is it true or not, or is this just a lie that you're making up? I'm curious about this. Oh Lord, when is the mad cow getting laid off? Well, they keep her around for reasons. I think it's funny that someone throws this kind of thing out and says, "Oh, it's white men that went to conserve." Is it, or are you just throwing shit out there, making crap up to get people outraged? Say, "Oh, it's white men that they're keeping." Is it? You're saying this without any proof. And then whenever you actually look at what's going on, you see that, oh no, it wasn't. They just got rid of people that were waste of space. Yeah, keep her around for entertainment purposes. Of course, it's the white man's fault. Blame Whitey. No one is buying it anymore. Exactly. Mad cow, just take her less propaganda off air. Yeah.
not to say that they're not good. I think all of my coworkers are.
Oh, no, they're not to say they're not good, but yeah, you got your ass handed to you right there. You just told on yourself. What people don't realize, the Department of Education didn't exist until 1980. The only good thing that came out of it was funding for Head Start and lunch programs. Since education has nosedived to dumbing down youth. Yes, it has. And speaking of, let's see what our poll shows right here. Look at this end poll. And what did I say? What did I say? We would have about 90% that would agree with shutting down the Department of Education. Now, do you think that this is more indicative of the way that people feel, or do you think that it's a skewed poll? I think it's a skewed poll because it's your audience. It's your audience that you're talking to here. My audience is a little bit more of, hey, let's free up some of those billions and trillions of dollars that are being sucked from the taxpayer, so we pay less taxes. That way we can spend more on ourselves. Amazing how that works. You spend more on yourself and it increases. Polls are done by audiences. It's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. Let's spend the money where it's going to go to be the best for what we want it to be the best for, not what these other people want to have. So bad.
Are excellent. Many of them are members, but the coworkers that are being laid off as well are also good. What is curious in the U.S. Department of Education is that the layoffs, the mass terminations, the administrative leaves are seeming to affect and impact disproportionately women and people of color.
Really?
And the Department of Education should be a model employer.
So no proof of this. No proof of this. It's like this statement that they make, that they throw out there. It seems to be women and people of color. Now, what would be amazing is if you found out, you looked at the Department of Education, you found out that it was, 90% women? It just seems like they're going after women and people of color. And then you dig down a little bit deeper and you start seeing that it's more a little bit of this kind of BS where you see, oh, well, it not only is it 90% women, but it's 90% women of color. And what do they consider women of color? I don't know, black, white, Hispanic, Jewish, whatever it might be. I don't know what they consider this people of color anymore. I mean, it's easy to throw out these broad statements without anything to back it up. So if you have a large percentage, say, for example, if I was a coal miner, and I worked for a coal mining company, it seems like that they would be targeting middle-class white men whenever they shut down a coal mining facility. I mean, because it seems like they really targeted that demographic in shutting down this coal mine. Well, usually it's about 90% white middle class men that work in coal mines. So it wouldn't be a lie, but your data is a little skewed. So next time you see him shut down the Nord Stream, like what was it that was coming from Canada, the pipeline that was run between the United States and Canada? You know who that affected? That affected hundreds of thousands of white middle class men. How are they going to raise their families? How are they going to take care of their families? It was so disproportionate. Yeah, Keystone. Whenever they shut down the Keystone pipeline, it was insane. How many white men lost their jobs over that? Oh, it was so disappointing. See, it's just skewed news.
And I want American people to think about, do they want their employer to follow this model where the only people that are deemed good enough to keep their jobs and their ability to support their families are people who are from a
Wait, so you can't support your family now? I'm just curious. So you're telling me that as an attorney, a law graduate with a degree, possibly even two, because I'm sure that you went and did undergrad there, that has been a practicing lawyer for how long? What, 10, 20, 15 years, 20 years, 30? How long have you been practicing law, sweetheart? And if you're such a good employee, then and you're saying they let you go because of the color of your skin or the genitalia that was hanging or lack thereof. You're telling me that makes you a bad lawyer. So did you ever think that maybe, out there in the private sector where, you actually have to be accountable to somebody, maybe you should go get a job at one of these wonderful, wonderful places that's hiring. I mean, I know that there's lots of attorneys, law firms that are constantly hiring, oh, and it would be amazing. I hear that there's this old woman with purple hair, and she's got a broke back, needs somebody to like come help her out with her case because they're about to lose his lawyer. Mm-hmm. I live off the government. The government, they'd be paying for my schooling. I don't know. Like maybe get a real job.
a certain race and are of a certain gender.
It's all race. It's all race, Aria.
I know that this has all just happened in the last few hours, but with what they've been telegraphing about their plans for the education department, I know that you and your union colleagues and your colleagues at work more broadly have to have been expecting the worst. Do you believe that your union or that the employees more broadly have recourse to fight these firings and have recourse to fight their efforts to abolish the?
And it's curious because, I can tell you, my wife as an attorney has been fired multiple times, and then she's also like fired clients. I mean, this is the way that it works. You're working with a client. The client becomes difficult, or they're not happy with whatever work that you're doing, and they say, "I'm switching attorneys." It happens. And, sometimes you just don't get along. So I think she has a problem. She's probably never been told no. I mean, she clearly never said no to the donuts in the break room. Clearly,
The department?
Well, absolutely, because their efforts are illegal. Again, since the new administration.
First, I thought you were talking about the Reverend Al Green. And that's a big difference. Yeah, Al Green, the stick man, or Letitia James might need a lawyer. I think Letitia is a lawyer. I think she is a lawyer. Actually, I think that Al Green is also an attorney. Were you talking about me? Oh, wait, I don't have purple hair. Oh, good morning, Stacy. How you doing?
Came into office, we have experienced mass terminations and unchecked unprofessionalism, and people just not
unchecked unprofessionalism. Well, let's see. Aren't you the president of your local union or something like that? Sharia, whatever. Aren't you like president of your? That means that you make a lot of money, because union reps get paid here in the United States. They get paid a lot. Neither Al nor Letitia are very good at their jobs. Well, I mean, it happens. Might want to look in the mirror for that one. Hey, I love a good donut.
going by the rules. Even this layoff is not something that should have occurred. The layoff was not because of a budget shortfall. The president can't.
No, it is entirely a budget shortfall. You realize that the United States has been running at a deficit, and if you were here yesterday, you saw what that deficit was. That they've already cut $1 trillion in government waste. Doge has already come in and cut $1 trillion in government waste. You know, everyone talks about balancing the budget. This is what everyone runs their platform on for, seems like for freaking ever. It's like we're going to balance the budget. The Democrats are saying we're going to balance the budget. Republicans, we're going to balance the budget. And nobody has done it until Trump. And all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we're going to balance the budget. We're going to start by cutting government spending on wasteful programs that do nothing, that produce nothing, that create nothing. You have to understand that our current president is a builder. Has been for a long, long time. Making buildings, creating buildings, gutting out buildings, rebuilding buildings. He's a builder. If you ever get a chance, go back and look at some of the stuff that he has done, where he's been. He shows up on a job site. He can sit there and talk through problems with his general contractor. He probably, you know, and it wouldn't surprise me if Trump could easily walk into some place and rewire it. He's pretty damn bright.
Just lay people off because he does not agree with them or he does not like the color of their skin or their gender. So certainly we are.
That right there is a perfect freeze frame, because that is entirely BS, made up lie. I'm sorry. I've got to do it. I can't help it. I'm going to be so bad at this. Does it work? No, it isn't going to work because it's on a different platform. There we go.
Availing ourselves for, you know, of all recourse to challenge this.
I think that you should go get a job elsewhere. They handed you your walking papers. If I'm not mistaken, at some point, didn't they say, hey, you know, you've got a chance to take severance, and 7 months severance, that gives you plenty of time to go get a job elsewhere. I mean, come on. You right now, she could go make more money working at McDonald's than she could showing up on Rachel Maddow's show.
And
yeah,
talking with attorneys, and we have been since the first round of layoffs on January 21st. And so, you know, we'll be fighting, and we hope the American people will fight with us.
No. American people are probably sick of your garbage. If I'm not mistaken, I'm beginning to think letting her racist ass go was a good start. Yeah. I mean, Biden said he left us with a robust economy. No, there was no robust economy. The cost of eggs, milk, gas, meat, everything is skyrocketed. I mean, he did try to get pushed through let's raise the income. What was it? Oh no, that's right. He left people getting taxed out the wazoo. Want something for our money. Yeah, exactly. Good morning. Yes, I do agree with you. Yes.
You know, Linda McMahon, in explaining what she's doing here, has also said that the American people should expect that there will be no interruption to any of the programs that the Education Department administers. I have to ask you if that is possible with what they're planning tonight, with half the workforce gone overnight.
Absolutely not possible. Since January 21st, our entire agency has been interrupted. We've been told not to work. We've had people who have been forced from working, even though they've been high performers.
High performers of what? Been told not to work? Been high performers of what? That's the thing. Is what exactly were you producing? What were you creating? What have you done? You know, shuffling papers around on a desk is not work. Just saying. Says $5 and he'll revert back to the old definition of a recession, and suddenly we'll be in a recession. Set up. Exactly. Our roads could be fixed. Bridges could, for all that money wasted. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely possible. They don't produce anything of value at all. And we've been saying this forever. Like, didn't Musk say, we want to know, why don't you just tell us, 5 things that you worked on this week? And they come back and they get all upset. Well, what? I have to give you 5. List 5 things that I did this week. God, that's pretty easy, because on a daily basis, whenever I'm billing out my time, I have to put in there exactly what cases I was working on. It's really simple. I'm just like, okay, I did this is 0.2, 0.6, 2 hours, 1 hour, whatever it might be, and constantly have to keep track of that. Whereas the return on investment, yeah, no ROA, no job, period. Yeah. Making sure all the illegals are given an education and fed meals. Yeah, but they weren't. You were paying for that. They were pushing it off on somebody else. Paper pushers, we still need them, keep track of everything. But yeah, I guess they do not have the receipts.
There's no way. We were already understaffed. There is no way we can continue operations at the levels that we had been when you have half the workforce and you have fired great people. You have fired high performers. There's no way.
They did. They fired high performers. I hear that they're opening up a new plant in, what is it, Virginia or North Carolina or Illinois or something like that. And guess what? They need people to put car panels together. I mean, it's pretty simple. This is easy work that, even a trained, and I won't say that because then she might think it's all racist.
Way. If you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn.
Sharia Smith is the president of the AFGE union that represents education department employees.
Wah. And as Trump the administration has pointed out repeatedly, the United States spends more per capita per student than virtually any other nation on earth, with disastrous results to show for that investment. The rate of increase of out-of-control administrative expenses has only risen in recent years. Fiscal year 2021 to 2022 saw the sharpest increase in 20 years. Schools don't pay teachers enough to attract and retain top talent. So where does the money go? Right into administrative overhead, funneled back into Democrat coffers, into the grifters' pockets. Their grift is on the line. Losing their gravy train ride is an overriding concern. Note that at no point does the Department of Education union boss in the above video, while she's playing the violin for her comrades' firings and blaming racism, express any concern for the students they allegedly serve. Thank you, Brent Barty. That was actually a really good one. And of course, one of the most interesting things this week was old Joe's fake Oval Office. His fake news apologist was exposed. Oh, Joe Biden's stage set is to the Oval Office what Dylan Mulvaney is to women, completely fake. Yeah, we know that now. No, we knew that then too. But there was a time when the media said all claims that Joe Biden was working from a virtual or fake office were considered to be fake news. Now, with Trump's White House advisor, Alina Hababa, that's an awesome name, personally finding the fake Oval Office set and showing it to the public in a video, people are discovering the story all over again. From January through September of 2021, Joe Biden's water carriers and the media went out of their way to debunk claims that he was doing appearances from a phony Oval Office, Hollywood-like set. Well, and of course, there's a Reuters fact check that gives you an idea of how completely in the bag the White House media were for the man who ran for president from a set in his basement. Social media users have shown photos of Joe Biden in an Oval Office, claiming they provided proof that the office is fake or a film set. The evidence includes a supposed change in wallpaper, allegedly darkening windows, and claims that the former president is walking in the background outside the office. The Reuters has examined each of these photos and found none of the claims to be true. Well, Reuters debunking went on to link Facebook posts that are no longer available, probably because Mark Zuckerberg's social media platform instituted censorship on all posts that were from right-wing sources and took the verbal shot at the man saving democracy. As so-called evidence, the post included a series of photos. It says it shows Trump that can be seen in a window behind Biden. Here. The color of the rug has changed in the Trump's Oval Office. Here. And then there's a tank outside the window. Here, the background in the windows behind Biden does not match that of Trump's Oval Office. Here. The windows are darkened. Here, the wallpaper is not the same as Trump's Oval Office. Here. And the post also includes photos of the Oval Office's movie set here and here. When PolitiFact was at the center of the censorship industrial complex, it too fact-checked the claim in its usual way. It took the claim, changed it, fact-checked the change, and pronounced the whole thing to be false. And here's what PolitiFact says. Since President Joe Biden was inaugurated in 2021, there's a false claims his presidency is staged have proliferated online. We debunked social media posts that a White House event was filmed at Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta, and that his administration created a fake set for him to get a booster shot. Well, neither was true. The original claim was that Biden had a fake Oval Office. Charlie Kirk of Turning Point took a victory lap when he saw Biden administration optics as Joe got a COVID shot on the set. Yeah, as you can see right there. And then there was more of the PolitiFacts and more of the PolitiFacts and more of them saying such. And here you go.
Guys, I just finished a show. Look at the room that they put me in. We're in Biden's fake Oval Office, everybody. And I've actually figured this out. I now know why. I now get it. Turn the camera around. There is a screen, teleprompter to the face. All I can say is the last administration was a disgrace.
And of course, this fake Oval Office production set is in the Eisenhower Executive Building, of which is part of the White House complex, and it has been for quite some time. The map is from the White House office, knows how close the West Wing is to the Eisenhower's Executive Office building. Since it's so close to the Oval Office and probably accessible via tunnel or shortcut, that's classified. I propose liberating the rooms used by White House correspondents in the West Wing and relocating the media to the auditorium in the Eisenhower Executive Office building where the fake Oval Office is. Move them all, included the offices and press room, the whole shebang. The West Wing is crammed full of it, and so why not move the fake news to the fake Oval Office? Zuckerberg can go meet Lord Chippy on Snake Island, allegedly in Minecraft, as some might say. How educated are you in the Department of Education if you didn't see this happening on November 6th, or at least by the time Trump said his pick for Department of Education was Linda McMahon? Exactly. But this is way it goes. Oh, because the EU also accuses Trump of blackmailing Zelensky. Really? Yesterday's pacifists are today's Rambos. It seems 442 lawmakers in the 720-seat European Parliament just agreed to a joint declaration that strongly deplores any attempts at blackmailing Ukrainians' leadership into surrender to Russia aggressor. Man, that's how you mute a mic. Into surrender to the Russian aggressor for the sole purpose of announcing a so-called peace deal. It passed via a landslide, 61%. Not all EU politicians supported the measure. Melonia Nicola Procanini, that sounds like a cheese, co-chair of the conservative ECR, had tried to delay the vote, arguing that a strong stance by a chamber would risk undermining the delicate ongoing discussions between the United States and Russia on the conditions of a ceasefire that were agreed yesterday in Jeddah, and on which the Kremlin has yet to officially comment, casting a negative light on the efforts of the star-studded administration. But the parliament rejected his request, and thus the joint resolution submitted by EPP and S&D, ECR, Renew, and Greens, which followed a debate last Friday, passed with 442 votes in favor, 96 against, and 126 absentations, which means less than 14% of our friends in the EU had a testicular fortitude to oppose this brazenly anti-American statement. Thanks, guys. But perhaps we're being unfair. Perhaps the EU genuinely, sincerely opposes browbeating a democratic nation, especially one that just invaded and attacked, into accepting a permanent, immediate, and unconditional ceasefire. Perhaps this isn't another example of our European friends acting selfishly and cowardly, but a heartfelt moral position. Fun fact, just 1 year ago, the same European Parliament that demanded Israel commit to a ceasefire in Gaza. Hypocrisy, thy name is EU. The European Parliament was able to call for permanent, immediate, and unconditional ceasefire in Gaza only last month on February 28th, over 140 days after the genocidal war began. On that day, at the initiative of the left, the EU Parliament's plenary in Strasbourg attended the 67th article of the 2023 report of the Human Rights and Democracy in the World and European Union's policy on the matter, to include a call for immediate and permanent ceasefire in Gaza, allowing uninterrupted access to food and water for its inhabitants. Emphasis was added on that. It raises a very obvious question. Israel was attacked by invaders too. Why is it moral and just to impose a ceasefire on Israel, but blackmail to do so to Ukraine? One, as Politico reported today, it's unclear. The European Parliament on Wednesday accused Trump administration of blackmailing Ukraine's leadership into capitulating to Russia with a forced ceasefire, and denounced Washington's decision to leave the European Union out of negotiations. It's unclear why the EU Parliament insisted on using the word blackmailing. We're not threatening to disclose harmful information about Zelensky. Besides, how do you blackmail a guy who's already been videotaped doing this? Yeah, how do you blackmail a guy that's like this? Huh? How do you blackmail a guy that does this? He's got his pants down around his ankles while he plays the piano. Usually the victim of blackmail is the one who lost his money, not here. The EU is claiming that Zelensky was blackmailed because Trump didn't pay him. It doesn't make sense. The statement also condemned as counterproductive and dangerous the current attempts by the Trump administration to negotiate a ceasefire and peace agreement with Russia over the heads of Ukraine and other European states. Russian President Vladimir Putin, they added, was being rewarded for Moscow's ongoing 3-year invasion of Ukraine. Even after all these years, Europe's level of entitlement never ceases to astonish. What Ukraine and the EU really want is an American war guarantee. When you strip away the diplomatic niceties and the coded language, Zelensky's tantrum and the EU's fury can be boiled down to this. They want a peace guarantee that's backed by American blood. And because Trump doesn't believe a Ukrainian war guarantee would make America great again, he's trying to find an off-ramp that averts World War III. He's trying to stop a war between a nuclear superpower and a near West ally that's already cost 1.5 million lives. By any objective standard, that's a laudable goal. If this had been Obama doing the negotiating, the Nobel Prize Committee would have called an emergency meeting and earmarked him for the next 10 awards. Yet the EU is not only objected, they actually called it blackmail. If only they were willing to stand up to Putin like they stand up to Trump, because the EU will do everything they can to protect Ukraine, just as long as they don't have to do any of the fighting themselves. Yeah, how do you blackmail one whose pants are down easy? You say, Mr. Rubens, 20K or 200K, or I tell people you were cranking it out of the theater and Pee-wee's Playhouse will come crashing down. It's so right. That's so right, but yet so wrong. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to take a sweet short break. I need to go fill up my coffee cup, as you might want to do the same. We're going to give you just a little bit of happiness here. We'll give you a little dance. Be back in about 3 minutes, 11 seconds. Here we go.
Step aside, y'all, it's my time to shine. I'm feeling the groove with these hips of mine. Hands in the air like spaghetti gone rogue. My knees are jelly and my hips just broke. Shaking it, breaking it, what a blast. Wobble it, wiggle it, shake that ass. Do a jig or a jog, wiggle it to the side, or break that hip bone by moving your ass. Step up or stand aside. Like a rusty hinge. My fingers point like they're on a binge. Twirl like a tornado, then drop real low. It's not planned, it's a shit sideshow. I've got the rhythm of a clock that's broke. My dance floor moves are a big effing joke. Shaking it, breaking it, what a blast. Wobble it, wiggle it, shake that ass. Do a jig or a jog, wiggle it to the side. Or break that hip bone by moving your ass. Step up or stand aside. Rig like lava lamp, mesmerizing glow. You can't help but watch me steal the show. I summon the shake, the shimmy, the twist, a mix of genius and a big old fist. You're drawn in close, your feet start to twitch, feeling the groove like a broke ass bitch. Yeah, shaking it, breaking it, what a blast. Wobble it, wiggle it, shake that ass. Do a jig or a jog, wiggle it to the side, or break that hip bone by moving your ass. Step up or stand aside. Now we're all in the shake, no need to be shy. Move like spaghetti and reach for the sky. We'll dance like we're cursed, laugh to a soar. Shizzy whiz nut reigns forevermore. So join the dance, let your weirdness unfurl. We're shaking ass, not a care in the world.
I love it. I love it. Thank you guys. You guys are so much fun. That kid cracks me up. Who cracked me up? I got so much, had so much fun with that. And I can honestly thank Rosalind Duke for finding a lot of those dancers. Awesome. Oh, we had a great time with that. Play it again. No, I'm not playing it again. Get it. You'll get it again tomorrow morning at the end of the stream, because that's how I end the streams on Friday whenever I'm doing it on my channel. And I'll have the wonderful Mo in the Deep End tomorrow, and we'll be streaming over here in the morning. It'll be great. The singing voice kind of even sounds like Rosalind. It could be. You never know. Columbia, no longer a school of choice for some high school grads. Lincoln Brown. I spent part of my senior year of high school preparing for college because that was what everyone in my generation was supposed to do. I recall my mother hanging up the phone during my conversation with an Army recruiter looking to set up an interview at the local McDonald's. I was going to college, hands down. While they fancied themselves 60s activists, my parents also had dreams of me, rowing crew at Harvard. I had the grades, the extracurriculars and all that, but we didn't have the money or social clout for that. The Ivies were just not my future. Be that as it may, I dutifully showed up for my SAT and ACT and filled out the multiple applications. Elite schools weren't even on my list. The closest I got was Kenyon, which replied with a very kindly worded letter inviting me to seek my higher education elsewhere. But now as spring rolls around and thoughts turn to college course catalogs, some students are considering opting out of schools like Columbia, even if they have an early acceptance in their pocket. It's the reason? Well, have you seen Columbia University recently? As it turns out, some students are not enamored of the idea of indenturing themselves to student debt to spend 4 years among wild animals that break windows, terrorize people, have revolutionary pajama parties on the quad, and hurl smoke bombs. They want a little something to go with the diploma, and a police record is not what they had in mind. College admission consultants and Command Education CEO Christopher Rim told the New York Post that in the fall, students and their parents had some semblance of hope that things would have normalized at Columbia, but obviously have not. He commented, lots of my clients thought things would be back to normal by now, and by the time the school year starts in the fall, who knows 1,000 things can change again. He added that some people like Trump's hardline approach to campus chaos. They are all ready for a return to normalcy. Anti-Semitism still plays a role. The paper noted that one Jewish student in Australia who applied and was accepted to Columbia is on the fence. He had wanted to represent his community on campus, but he is seriously rethinking his plans with safety as his main concern. Columbia is not the only school where people can major in or just practice barbarism. According to the Free Beacon, Jonathan Tuttle, a Harvard librarian, lost his job for recently tearing down pictures of the Bibba's children. It takes a unique diabolical level of hatred and disconnect to do such a thing, and people are taking notice. One mother posted on X this right here.
Yeah. In your estimation, what crime did Mahmoud Khalil commit to warrant his arrest, detention, and the potential revocation of his green card?
Let me tell you something. I went face down the angry mob at Columbia at the height of that stuff. When the pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas protesters were there. I'm telling you, this is my own observation, not something I read in a newspaper. It was dangerous. I met with Jewish students before we went to campus who were holed away off campus because they were instructed by the administration not to come to class, which they paid for fear of their physical safety. The administrators there refused to take control of that campus. They refused to allow the PD to come, the police department to come in and take control, and it turned into a chaos. The president has since been removed, and now they got the same problem again. Columbia and other universities, they have to keep control of campus. The first responsibility of an administration is ensuring the safety of the students who are paying tuition to be there, for crying out loud. This madness has to stop. We have to get control of it. This guy apparently was a mastermind of those very things, when the gnashing of teeth and the ripping of clothes and the people screaming at me, wanting to rip me limb from limb because I was there talking about moral clarity and how there's a right and a wrong. They were doing that. They disrupted the campus. They were threatening physical violence to their fellow students. If you're on a student visa, I'm going to say this clearly. If you are on a student visa and you're in America and you're an aspiring young terrorist who wants to prey upon your Jewish classmates, you're going home. We're going to arrest your tail, and we're going to send you home where you belong. And this is just getting started. So, look, I appreciate free speech. I used to defend it in courts, but this is far beyond the pale of that. When you are threatening your classmates and spewing anti-Semitism and all this hatred, it's enough. And I think the American people understand that. They're supporting it, and I'm glad we have a president who's strong enough to lay down the law. Thank you.
Amazing. And congratulations on that. Your granddaughter has a free ride. She started 8 credits shy of being a junior on the dean's and president's list. That's beautiful. Obviously, the problem is not confined to Columbia. While the school is currently the poster child for pro-Hamas insanity, colleges and universities have been the epicenter of the psychosis pandemic for years. Americans may not want to say so out loud, but they're sick of the violence, the immaturity, and the narcissism, not just of college students, but the left in general. Crazy, isn't it? Oh man, and again, I'm just me. That's beautiful that your grandchild has succeeded so well. I'm not saying college is a bad thing. I'm just saying that there's other things that people can be doing with talent that don't involve a 4-year degree. It's weird how that happens. And speaking of having a 4-year degree, here you go. A funny thing happened on the way to marijuana riches. Oh, the thing that happened in Pueblo, Colorado's way to becoming the Napa Valley of cannabis, according to a new Wall Street Journal report, a city where the streets were going to be paved with gold, the elementary schools were going to be the greatest in the country. Left unsaid, in a town selling that much weed, nobody would remember to pick their kids up from school. I kid mostly. The day after legal recreational marijuana arrived in Pueblo in 2014, 50 people were camped out in front of one of the first weed shops, waiting for the doors to open, the Journal reported, and 2 licensed shops in Pueblo rang up a combined $1 million in sales the first month, sending $56,000 in taxes to the county. But a decade later, the Wall Street Journal continued, Pueblo's dreams have sort of gone up in smoke. A once thriving industry of retailers, growers, and cannabis oil extractors. There were more than 200 such businesses in the county in 2017 has collapsed. Only 45 remain. State records indicate county tax revenue related to cannabis plunged from more than 7.1 million in 2021 to 4.8 million in 2023. That's despite daily marijuana, or the THC, use hitting record highs last year, so to speak. The disappointment isn't limited to Pueblo or even to Colorado, one of the first two states to legalize weed and presumably enjoy the first mover advantage. The New York Post ran typically breathless headline in January touting extraordinary tax receipts from the marijuana, and the Empire State is expecting to generate 161.8 million in tax revenues from its legal weed business in the fiscal year ending in March 31st. Or 4 times what it raked in last year, the Post reported. What the Post didn't report is that just 5 years ago, experts estimated that New York could generate around 300 million in tax revenue. In California, where the marijuana was legalized in 2016, the Atlantic reported a few weeks ago that cannabis excise and sales tax peaked in 2021. By the first quarter of 2023, their report is accounting for only 0.2% of total sales tax collections. And another thing, this is totally unrelated, but it needs to be said. VIP Gold members get to join Stephen Cruzier and sometimes a special guest once a week for their 5 o'clock somewhere video live chat. I love seeing the same people in chat every week. Cruiser, and they call them the VIP family, but keep thinking of all the Gold members who aren't there. Come join the fun. There you go. In 2021 was the year that Sacramento offered $100 million to rescue its struggling marijuana industry. And no, I did not make this up. Not all taxes do even get collected. In 2023, for instance, 15% of the state's cannabis firms defaulted on taxes they owed. Taxes and regulations on California's legal stuff are high and imposing enough that state officials readily acknowledge the industry still operates mostly in the shadows. Revenues generated by black market marijuana remain, of course, zero. Maybe the problem is that the math never did add up. This was an old saw, or at least a joke among my hippie friends in Northern California. Legalize it, tax it, and that's the deficit right there, man. Taxing weed hard enough to generate that kind of revenue runs into the same wall that declaring war on it did. Weed is weed. It grows anywhere, oftentimes by people without much regard for the law. And putting big taxes on the marijuana drives growers to the black market just as effectively as old criminalization did. Maybe there's a workable policy for decriminalizing or legalizing weed somewhere, but wherever it is, politicians have yet to find it again. You can't have your own kids. I'm so proud of your nieces and nephews. One is a double major in chemistry and going into law school now. She has transversed my Miletus at 10 years old, born on my birthday. Wow, that's amazing. Fall Storm, find the band commercial for Premier Estates wines. You won't be disappointed. Okay. I'll have to check that out. I hope you're doing well this morning, Fall Storm. We need to get together and do a nice stream, or I need to get your lovely wife to come and do a stream here, probably whenever I get back next week. So I want to be reaching out to that lovely lady if she is interested and able for some wonderful readings. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Trust me on this. We're gonna have a blast. I know things have been busy for Fall Storm. He hasn't been able to keep busy because he's got a saddle strapped to his back where he has to carry the weight of the world. I love it, and he does it with joy and with glee. Okay, I gotta share this one with you here. Give me just a second. Let me see if I can find it, because this was one of the funniest things that I saw, because people are just starting to get it. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? This was not that one, not that. Oh, did I not save it? Doggone it. I thought I saved it. I did not save it. That sucks. Damn it. Where is it? Maybe I can find it here amongst the ones that I watched because it was so damn good, and that I thought it was worthwhile noticing. And then for whatever reason I didn't save it. Oh, what's this? Oh, now I just noticed something else, but let me look and see if I can find this one. Nope, this is completely different, but this is something that was posted on X right here.
Mr. President,
the Democratic leader.
funding the government should be a bipartisan effort, but Republicans chose a partisan path, drafting their continuing resolution without any input from congressional Democrats. Because of that, Republicans do not have the votes in the Senate to invoke cloture on the House CR. Our caucus is unified on a clean April 11th CR that will keep the government open and give Congress time to negotiate bipartisan legislation that can pass. We should, Mr. President.
Yeah. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. I have a hard time believing that. Oh my gosh, we're going to shut down the government. Going to shut down the government. Why? Oh, it is. Let me see here. Give me just a second. I'm going to do something really quick here. And I'm assuming that it's going to be here. Let me double check. Oh yeah, I like that. Let me see. Here we go. Give me just a second. We are going to share this because I have a wonderful guy that has this right here. Yeah, they don't need Democrat votes. Yeah, good. Shut it all down. Exactly. All right, here we go.
For great quality wines at very reasonable prices, I go for Premier Estates every time. Take this exquisite Aussie Shiraz, a mere $5.99 a bottle. Luscious, earthy, bursting with fruit and spice. Australia practically jumps out of the glass. In fact, some say you can almost taste the bush.
Premier Estates. Always a great wine, always a great price.
That one right there. Is that the one you're looking for? Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Burn, baby, burn. Another lefty has some deliciously bad advice for the Dems. Yeah. Oh, the first rule of holes is that when you find yourself in one, stop digging. Steve's second rule of holes states that when your opponent is in one, send him a bigger and nicer shovel. The progressive's third rule of holes is if you think you've hit bottom, then get out the dynamite. Well, that is, at least if I'm reading Shanxi's De Vega correctly in Salon today. De Vega launched his column with an all the spittle-flecked invective, expected by Salon readers, reminding them that Donald Trump will enact a neo-fascist campaign to end America's multiracial, pluralistic democracy and turn the country into a version of Orban's Hungary or Putin's Russia and nullify the rule of law. Ignore and stain the Constitution, especially the Bill of Rights, making the country into a white Christian authoritarian state, betray American allies and friends, and take even more of the American people's money and give it to the richest corporations and individuals and pull apart an already threadbare societal safety net. Take a breath there, Chauncey. after insisting that Trump is going to be given a third term because the Constitution rule of law increasingly no longer applied to Vega, asked Berkeley political science professors M. Stephen Fish for advice on what messaging the Democrats need. Trump tells people that what he thinks is aims to change the way we think, while the Democrats wait for polling results and tell people what they think and want to hear. Fish said of the party that is consistently on the 20 side of 80-20 issues like securing the border, keeping men out of women's sports. If Democrats were such slaves to the polls, they'd hardly be recognizable as Democrats anymore. There's so much more at the link, all the delusional lines. To be fair enough, this former Bay Area resident would remind you that UC Berkeley does not exactly have its finger on the pulse of the nation, and the political science department barely has its finger on the zombified corpse of progressivism. But I'll also add my tiny black shriveled heart is filled with glee at the prospect that the ideology uber allies wing is still in full charge of the Democrat Party. It feels like I'm constantly reminding people that there's no way the Democrats will stay this stupid forever. There comes a time when the need to just win some damn elections overcomes every other political instinct. And while the Democrats will eventually wise up, they have two obstacles to overcome, one of which might be unique in American political history. The first is the party's future, i.e., the youngest Democrat voters and elected officials are the most ideologically motivated. They are the American equivalent of the communist China's Red Brigades, a topic I'll dig into deeper this week, Thursday's essay. Bill Clinton was one of the youngest people elected president in 1992, in large part because the big-name party elders decided to sit that one out rather than face George H.W. Bush. Clinton promised to renegotiate, at least in part, FDR's New Deal. A lot of sneezing this morning, which older elder Dems thought was a sacred writ. Today's Democrats give similar fealty to the party's new god, Barack Obama. If there's a young centrist seeming Democrat willing to shake the party loose from Obama's old unholy grip, they have yet to reveal themselves. The second is that Democrats haven't had to win elections to stay in power. Win or lose, the progressive-run federal gravy train delivered the goods to every lefty stop on the road to national bankruptcy. Should Elon Musk and the Doge boys succeed in weeding out the partisan hackery spending, the gravy train will derail. Then Democrats will have to relearn the fight art of appealing to the broad center of the American body politic, instead of giving us endless lectures about men and ladies' room as a civil right. Actually, it helps our side that Donald Trump's polls best with under 40 voters. Youthful idiots might be the future of the Democrat Party, at least for now, but the idiots are a minority even within their age cohort. A day may come when the ideological blinders of Democrats fail, and when they forsake their lady penises and break all the bonds of zealoship. But today, it is not that day. And Dem polls 8 points higher than chewing off someone else's fingernails. The Democrat Party scored 5.5 points higher than pooping a single Chinese throwing star. I'll explain in a second. But first, folks, the Dems have a major PR problem. They rode the identity politics gravy train for so long, grandstanding at every train stop along the way. And yesterday, Politico released a story. Dems' own polling shows massive broad problem ahead of 2026 from the article. Today, roughly 3 out of 4 independents look at Democrats and say, nope, they're not here for me. Only 1 of the 4 thinks that Dems are even trying to help them unless they quickly right their ship. That's a recipe for a 2026 electoral massacre. Other than neon blue urban districts, you simply can't be competitive in purple America and or toss-up states when 75% of independents are convinced you don't give 2 shits about them. The Democrats' party's unpopularity has reached historic proportions. The number of people who have a favorable opinion of the IRS, 38%, is over 10 points higher than the number of independents who believe the Dems are focused on helping them. Weirdly, according to the aforementioned poll, Dems' popularity among independent matches the Department of Education's popularity among Republicans. Both had a 27 approval rating, and we know what's about to happen to the Department of Education. Weirdly, part two, the Dems' 27% rating also matches 27% of Americans who still believe Bill Cosby is innocent. Hey. Weirdly, part three, 27% of people also believe that a gigabyte is an insect, and 27% of people would consider it cheating if their partner was interfacing with a robot. It's not exactly great statistical company for the Dems, as Political reported. The Democrat brand is still not where it needs to be in terms of core thrust and understanding people's challenges, said Molly Murphy, one of the pollsters who worked on the Research by Navigator project within the Hub project, the Democrat nonprofit group. Even though voters are critical about Trump and some of the things he's doing, that criticism of Trump doesn't translate to trust in Democrats. The trust has to be earned. Especially alarming for Democrats, we're finding around voters' view of Democrats and work. Just 44% of those polled say that Democrats respect work, while even fewer, 39%, said the party values work. Only 42% said Democrats share their values, and majority, meanwhile, 56% said Democrats are not looking out for working people. Only 39% believe Democrats have the right priorities. The benefit of identity politics is that you can directly connect and thus maintain ironclad loyalty with each demo group. If you want to build a coalition of blacks or a coalition of women or immigrants, you simply offer each of them a separate, distinct goodie bag. The Democrats assumed as long as the goodie bag had the most goodies, all the members of their coalition would stay in the fold. But they overreached. They focused on too many individual trees and lost sight of the forest. In the Democrats' eyes, it all stems from the COOF. We've always had the stigma of being the welfare party, but I do not think this is related post-COOF feeling that we don't care about people working. We've had a very long hangover from that, which feels really, really consequential, Murphy said. How can you care about working people if you don't care about work? It's going to be really hard in the midterms if voters don't think we care about work. Well, clearly you don't, because your work product sucks. This means Democrats will probably be proposing a jobs bill. It might not go anywhere, but it would be the fastest way to address their PR problem. According to their own polling data, 69% of voters say the Democrats were too focused on being politically correct. More than half said elitists describe today's Democrat Party. It's always been that way. And this is the political ad that could win the Trump election right here.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
It's hard to believe, but it's true. Even the liberal media was shocked Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners and illegal aliens.
Every transgender inmate would have access.
Kamala's for they, them. President Trump is for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
It captured the national zeitgeist in just 10 words. That's a masterful sales prose. And the proof is in the pudding. The Democrats' pathetic, abysmal 27% rating with independent only looks favorable when compared to the most bizarre scenarios. 78.5% of people would rather poop 1,000 gallons of mayonnaise. 21.5% would rather poop a single Chinese throw-in star. 81% of people would prefer to chew off their own toenails. 19% would rather chew off someone else's fingernails. That means for Democrats, it could always get worse. Oh, I love it. I love it. The barometric pressure. I love it. Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love seeing these kinds of things. It makes it so interesting. And somebody that I know very well sort of had the same kind of prediction. That'd be the Kaiser pineapple. Here it is, right here. Here's the latest sign that the woke Snow White reboot will be a $300 million flop. And I can say, honestly, that this is something that Kaiser Pineapple predicted way back. Walt Disney's studio chiefs might be feeling their own brand of flop sweat as one indicator after another piles up that the company's $300 million bet on a live-action Snow White is going down faster than the Titanic if an iceberg had been armed with torpedoes and anti-ship missiles. The Mouse House won't be rolling out a robust red carpet like it usually does for a big budget premiere next week, Variety Report Tuesday. Instead, a parade of movie stars and celebrities vying for attention on the red carpet and all the attendant big media names, the Snow White premiere will have its coverage limited to photographers and a house crew. Stars Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot will attend the March 15th pre-party and screening at the El Capitan Theater, but the scaled-back plans come amid controversies surrounding the Mark Webb-directed film. I've covered the remake's problems in several columns over the last 2 years. There were the ridiculous non-dwarfs, Snow White, one dwarf, and six painfully diverse magical creatures who were later replaced at great expense with CGI dwarves just back from the uncanny valley and the $100 million worth of reshoots the studio required when the woke BS leaked, and Zegler was forced to do a brief apology tour. Finally, there was the 1-year delay in getting the hot mess into theaters. See the preceding items. After all that, Snow White won't even enjoy a typical launch. The industry rags provided what cover they can run for Disney's multi-million-dollar embarrassment. Why is Disney buying Snow White? Gizmodo asked with mock ignorance, could Disney possibly be hiding it to play safe amid the current political climate in the U.S. with conservatives easily armed by anything perceived to be too woke? The Hollywood Reporter went with this tack. While the event won't be scaled back, as some headlines claim, the studio isn't allowing regular red carpet press to attend in order to prevent Zegler and Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen, from answering questions on the spot. Not inviting the media to attend is the very definition of scaled back. Give credit to the Hollywood Reporter, however, for including this juicy tidbit from an exhibition source. They've been going through the motions on Snow White, all but saying we need to get this thing over with. The first problem is that Disney hired a big-mouth wokester to play Snow White and then failed to keep her on a publicity leash. Say what you will about the long-dead Hollywood studio system, but they knew how to groom actors for stardom. You never heard Cary Grant or Katharine Hepburn bad-mouthing beloved cultural icons during the production or publicity of a picture they were making. And another thing, for spot-on humorous take on the old studio system, check out the Coen brothers' Hail Caesar from 2016. It's a delight watching Josh Brolin as a fixer desperately trying to keep the studio's troublesome actors and their non-mainstream proclivities out of the press. Then there's the part of Snow White where we're supposed to believe that Gal Gadot has anything to be jealous of about Zegler. The irony is that having spent perhaps $250 million producing this stinker, the company now hopes to save a few bucks by scaling back the red carpet event that usually accompanies a premiere of a tentpole motion picture. I'm kidding, of course. Disney knows that some last-minute cost-cutting won't make any difference to the bottom line. It isn't trying to save money, it's trying to save face. And good luck with that, Disney, because the only thing that might be worse than the publicity surrounding the production and premiere of Snow White is the picture itself. Snow White opens nationally on March 21st. They should put this, yeah, the evil queen is fairer than Snow White, I know. They should just put it on one of the channels like HBO or something like that. Well, they do have like Disney. They do have the Disney TV something or other. I don't know. It's really, really amazing to me. But nothing like this right here. I love the smell of resistance in the morning. It smells like lulls. I remember being a kid in Detroit and asking my grandfather why the geese fly in V formations, but pigeons flutter erratically like sky drunks. He suggested the geese have figured out that flying in V formation, like World War II fighter planes, helps with aerodynamics. The pigeons, which fly as though they're in a wind tunnel, do so because they lack leadership and aren't smart enough to come up with a cohesive plan for the flock. Whether my grandfather's answer was based on science or the dwindling case of Carling Black Label beer in the fridge, it reminds me of some of the communists we seek taking to the streets lately, usually floundering, I think is what they meant to say, floundering about, mostly unguided and looking for complete loobies. Yes, some of these leftist protest riots are funded by shadowy people with shadowy money. Some of that cheddar originated in your wallet if it hadn't already been taken from you before. You even opened your paycheck, spent a little time in the pocket of George Soros, and finally found its way to the Venmo account of some commie street booger who was paid to hold a sign in front of a Tesla dealership. Factorama, the modern H-Youth leader, Muhammad Kali, was arrested on Monday for his part in Columbia University's recent pogrom. In less than 48 hours, radical Islamists somehow managed to gather a large crowd, produced a huge stage banner, and handed out dozens of professionally made signs to hold. Even the Jewish Chuck Schumer is rallying around Kahali with his anti-Semitic hostilities. Yeah, this is their problem.
Less than 24 hours, over 1 million people have signed the petition for the release of Mahmoud Khalil. This is not a time to be by ourselves. We must build with the millions.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Interesting, isn't it? You've also seen some of the commie street drogos running their own separate war against Elon, Trump, and everything else that doesn't bend a knee to the communists. They are the low info, easily controlled numpties who resist for free, like this dope who laughingly punches a bulletproof Cybertruck. You know the resistance. Yeah. What about the kids in the car being terrified by the job-dodging hippie? Who cares to the clown in the video? They're just like Yahtzees, just as much as the driver. There have been no fewer than 13 attacks against the Tesla company in recent weeks. Some were, according to Elon Musk, funded by skullduggery, which is Act Blue. Some of the violence came compliments of the Democrats' mostly reliable, violent street minions, transgender dudettes, and between the attempted bombing of the Tesla store in Loveland, Colorado, and the firebombing and shooting of the Tesla in Salem, Oregon, both apprehended suspects are Trantifa activists Justin Thomas Nelson, a.k.a. Lucy Grace, and Nelson, and Adam Matthew Lansky, a.k.a. Allison Tesla. It's crazy. Democrats have long relied on the violent trans crowd to do their dirty work. They also seem to believe the answer to their abysmal approval rating is to break out even more trans amaba boobs of bobs. The View recently unearthed Bud Light crushing Trans Day on a can. Dylan, what's his name, to lecture the nation on why men and women's sports is a good thing, despite people being overwhelmingly opposed to it. Yeah, I'm just not interested in seeing that. And when men in dresses can't get your point across, you send in the clowns. The liberal legacy Trumpophobe Rosie O'Donnell is trying to celebrate her recent move to Ireland after her Los Angeles home was destroyed by the Democrat-sponsored fires, and then has found that no one seems to give two shits. Same way with Ellen DeGeneres, who could imagine that opinions of angry lesbian comedians from the 1980s are no longer relevant. So what have we learned? Well, we've learned that Democrats are desperate to resist, and they are relying on street urchins, both professionals and novices, to cause chaos, believing that bullets, firebombs, and men in thongs will somehow sway Americans to their side. It isn't working, but it is entertaining. Every attack on a Tesla dealership or cyber tracker with kids in is a bad look for the party that recently got hammered at the ballot box. Breaking out reptiles like Chuck Schumer to celebrate anti-Semitism, while hilarious, doesn't seem to have the oomph the Democrats had hoped it would. In the summer of 2020, the Marxists led a wave of violence across the nation. Today, their resistance consists of car-chasing stooges, drag queens, and washed-up comedians. Daft Democrats cannot or will not accept the writing on the wall. And when it comes to the Resistance 2.0, no one gives two shits. Thank you, Kevin Downey Jr., for that wonderful story. And at this point, we are going to kick everybody over to go see another stream. And I will be back again tonight with I don't know, maybe some more letters, maybe some more music. Maybe we will just look at dirty pictures of courtroom who knows what will happen tonight? But whatever it is, I guarantee you it'll be fun. And then, of course, Friday morning we'll be with Mo tomorrow morning over here, if she's available. Sometimes, people are not available to do stuff, but we will give it a good shot. Might have some other guests. You never know what happens on Friday, but I guarantee it's always going to be a good one. Everybody, have a wonderful day, and I will see you in just a few hours. Peace.
Bless your heart. I thought I was the only mentally challenged one here.
Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Early morning, rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.